Hello and welcome to A Book in 5 Minutes. I'm Lindsay Milner. This week's book is called Get Everything Done and Still Have Time to Play, and it is written by Mark Forster. So it's a return to the age-old theme of time management and probably also work-life balance. The author is he calls himself an anti-time management expert. He says time just is, and it's actually life management that we're trying to work on, how to get everything done and still have time to play. So it's written in 3 parts. The first part talks about why it's important, why he believes that it's life management we're talking about rather than time management, what he thinks of traditional time management techniques, solutions, why they don't work or why they don't work for everybody, and what he proposes instead. He talks about if you're working effectively then you're under a lot less stress. He also talks about if you practice what he calls mental strength, which is setting yourself a task one day that you say you will do the next day without fail, and develop your mental strength through the success of continually achieving your aims. And if you don't achieve your aim, you set a slightly easier task the next day. He makes an analogy that if we're building on our fitness, we gradually increase what we do, so that it's the same principle to develop our mental strength. The second part of the book is about techniques, and he has a number of time management or life management, work management techniques that he uses. Now, I didn't like this part of the book quite as much, I think, because some of those techniques felt a little bit, I just couldn't see myself implementing them as they were. They were too faffy, too detailed, too structured in some respects. There is some useful stuff in there about how to get started on a task when you're procrastinating, and he describes it from his own perspective that he is a master procrastinator. And these are the techniques that he used to help solve that problem for himself. I think in terms of the techniques, I think a lot of these techniques will work for some of the people, some of the time. And the trick, of course, is to keep trying them out until you find the ones that work for you. So from that point of view, although I was reading some of them and thinking, there's no way I'd actually manage to do that. But there are others that I thought, that does sound like it would be useful and would be worth a try. So the trick obviously is trying them out, finding which ones work for you. And I think also another key trick is if you get off track, if you have a setback in some way, is to have a useful technique for picking back up where you left off, which I think is different from finding a technique that works for you. The third part of the book, he talks about the phase where we are now in good habits. We've got these techniques, we're using these techniques, and we find we don't need the techniques anymore because we just automatically do the thing that we're meant to be doing without having to stress about why can't I get started. And we've learned the good behaviours, the effective techniques, and we do them second nature. And I think, yes, I agree that once we've done something for a given amount of time, it does become automatic, it does become second nature, it does become a lot less effortful. He talks about identifying what is the task you're most resisting. So do that one first. And I'm not sure, I kind of feel like we could kid ourselves a bit too easily and still end up down the wrong path. But as I say, he says it's working for him, And I think if you find a technique that works for you, then absolutely stick with it. And where I think this book is useful is because it does suggest some really useful techniques that will work for some of you, some of us. So I think it is quite an interesting read. He's clearly got a reasonable handle on what motivates people, what, you know, the fact that, you know, if you have small successes, they help you to build up and continue with, you know, the success feeds future success and future motivation. And yeah, so I kind of liked it overall. I certainly like the principle of get everything done and still have time to play. I think that's probably the aim that we're all working towards. He does mention at the beginning of the book that he thinks that, you know, rewarding work helps us to get the most out of our leisure time, and good use of leisure time helps us to enjoy our work more. So yeah, he hasn't used the phrase work-life balance, and I think work-life balance, I know some people like it as a phrase, others don't, but I definitely think that there's something in his principles and his outlook and his view on life and work. So that's this week's book, Get Everything Done and Still Have Time to Play by Mark Forster. If you want more material like this, then please do subscribe to the channel, and if you like this video, hit that like button. Till next time, bye.